Who are the best teams and partners for the Teq Metal Cooler Army? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We got another Dokkan Battle video for you here. Today we are checking out the 2026 June Dokkan Fest exclusive Teq Metal Cooler Army. And in this video, we are going to break down everything you need to know about how to build teams and this guy's best link partner. So as always for these videos, we will take a look at the unit. We'll take a look at his links, talk about which links you want to prioritize when running this guy. And then of course we will then break down some of the best teams that you can put together to maximize those links, as well as discuss some of the events where he will excel at. So let's go ahead and let's start by taking a look at the unit. So as a reminder, he does lead Terrifying Conquerors or Power Absorption for Key 3, HP 200%, Attack and Defense 170%, with an additional 50% to target Goku, artificial life forms, and movie bosses. On his super attack effect, he is greatly raising attack for 1 turn, causing immense damage, and raising allies' defense by 6% for 2 turns. A very, very useful support ability. Really crazy when you got 2 of these guys running around popping off those supers. Now, he does have an entrance animation that can be activated when 3 or more movie bosses or Wicked Bloodline allies are on the team upon his entry turn, which is very easy to do if you set him up on some of the teams that we're going to be running here. It gives him a permanent additional 2 attacks, each of which has a 50% chance of becoming a super attack, and it gives him Key 1 and 20% damage reduction permanently. He also gets a once-only additional 20% for that first turn. Per movie bosses or Wicked Bloodline ally on the team, whichever has more, he gets attack and defense 10% up to 500%. I'm sorry, 100% up to 500%. Correction there. He also gets a chance of performing a critical hit, chance of evading enemy's attack, and damage reduction rate 10% up to 50%. With 1 AGL key sphere obtained, he gets an additional chance of evading enemy's attack 20%. With 1 Teq key sphere obtained, he launches an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super attack while lowering enemy's attack and defense by 25% for 2 turns, as well as sealing for 2 turns. He survives KO attacks up to once within the turn if you grab 1 int key sphere, as well as recovers 10% HP at the end of the turn. With 1 STR key spheres, he gives extreme allies attack and defense 50%. With a Fizz key sphere, he recovers 10% HP of the damage dealt. Now, he gets a attack and defense up to 200%, the more HP remaining, so the more HP you can keep up, the stronger he's going to be. And for every attack received or evaded, he gets an additional 30% attack up to 150, and 5% attack and defense up to 25 for all allies who include Cooler, and an additional 5% up to 25% for allies who are specifically include the name Metal Cooler. He does launch an additional super attack starting from the 4th turn from the start of battle. And when he is the first attacker in the turn, starting from the 4th turn, or starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle, or correction, 6th turn from the start of battle, he will call in reinforcements, essentially his giant form. So knowing that that's what he's doing while in his base form, and knowing that his giant form can last up to 4 turns, getting stronger with each turn, you can kind of build around that. As you can see, depending on the type of key you get, he's going to provide various different support type abilities. So the teams you want to run him on are going to surround those type of abilities. So let's start by taking a look at the partners who are going to benefit the most from not only his links, but the support that he's giving. So let's switch on over to the Dokkan FYI. So when looking at the Dokkan FYI, shout out to these guys, by the way, really great tool. We love to use these to help us when we are building teams and looking specifically at link partners. Dokkan Database is another good one, but they currently don't have their link tool set up yet for Metal Cooler. He's not in their database just yet. So with that said, let's go ahead and check this out. So let's start by taking a look at his links. So links include auto regeneration, big bad bosses, fear and faith, fierce battle, nightmare, strongest clan in space, and thirst for conquest. A decent villain stack here for links, right? They're going to be pretty standard with other coolers and metal coolers, as well as Frieza's. So he'll be able to link with most of the characters you want him on, right? When we look at his offense links, which is typically what you want to look at for links, right? There aren't too many characters that get primarily their defense from links, right? Links really benefit offense. So for him, right, we want big bad bosses for 25%, fierce battle for another 20, up to 45% there, nightmare giving us another 15 for 60%, and thirst for conquest giving us another 15 for 75%. So you want characters that are going to maximize by giving big bad bosses, fierce battle, nightmare, and thirst for conquest. Other coolers and metal coolers are going to be able to give him things like strongest clan in space, auto regeneration, and fear and faith, which are more supportive for him, right? Especially auto regeneration at league level 10 by giving an extra 5% damage reduction on top of the damage reduction he already has. Very, very helpful. So the thing we like about FYI here is we can actually sort by the types of by the types of skills based on their category and the number of link skills we can activate. So you can see here, Fizz Metal Cooler is going to be his best link partner. AGL Metal Cooler is going to be his best link partner. The only thing about these two is while Fizz Metal Cooler is in line for EZA, meaning he will be able to be on a team with him sooner rather than later, AGL Metal Cooler is a bit far out of reach for us at the current moment. He could get into a Super EZA this year, but it's very unlikely. Fizz Cooler's EZA is more likely to be on the horizon, but not currently available, so that doesn't really help us. So let's look at the 5 link skills. 5 link skills, not so much there. None of these characters are going to be tremendously useful, although this Frieza will be up for an EZA next year. Not helpful right now. So that brings us to our 4 link skills. As you can see, many of his 4 link skills are going to be the most beneficial for him. Linking 4 link skills with characters like Goma, Baby, Rose, AGL Frieza, the Lord Slug, even LR STR Cooler, who is in line for an EZA. He also has another decent set of 3 links with characters like the Fizz King Cold, who released on his banner, Garlic Jr., Fizz Omega, who is also on his leader skill, AGL and Teq Golden Frieza here, as well as Fizz Turles, who could potentially EZA in this celebration as well, since he was on the main banner, but we can't say for certain if that'll happen. Fizz Cooler, also a good link partner for him as well, the Fizz TUR Cooler. So he's got a lot of decent options that are going to slide in nicely for his partners. Primarily the ones we want to look at are the 4 link partners who are giving him big bad bosses. Most of his 3 link partners aren't giving them that, aside from Garlic Jr. So Goma being one of the primary ones, great option for his team, giving big bad bosses, fear and faith, fierce battle, thirst for conquest, all 4 of those offense links that I just talked about, right? So with Goma in your slot 1, if you could have another cooler or metal cooler filling out the rest of those, right? Or even a baby in slot 3, you could be getting some of those other links. Well, actually, it's the same links with Baby as well, right? So you would want someone else here. Here we go. Fear and Faith can get from Rose, so that's helpful. So again, you can see that some of his primary link partners are going to be here in the 4 link range, and these are going to be great options for the teams, as we will show you here in a second. So real quick, let's go ahead and let's hop on over to those teams. So we get a couple of different teams set up for you here, starting with the first one here, which you are going to see in the showcase coming up, where we kind of break down this unit fully, right? Go over all of his offense and defense stats, right, through calculations, and then putting everything all together for a complete guide. This is the team we'll be using. It's the one at the top. This is probably the current team most people are running. It's about the only team you can run for him right now, given his strict conditions. In order to function effectively, you need at least 5, and the friend is included in this, mind you, so I am keeping that into account for the teams that we're building. The friend is included in this. You need at least 5 movie bosses or Wicked Bloodline. So this first team does activate that, right? Losing only Goma not being on movie bosses or Wicked Bloodline, but the rest of the team has that. So basically this team sets up, you have Goma slot 1 on one rotation and Cooler slot 2 on the other rotation, or you could even just have your Coolers floating and have your Golden Friezas on another rotation. I don't personally like that, because then your Coolers are basically aren't getting big bad bosses except for when they're on rotation with that Goma and AGL Garlic Jr., but it can work. But this is probably going to be his best, most consistent team for the time being. The next team that we have here drops AGL Golden Frieza in favor of Omega Shenron, who is on his power absorption. Now he is only on the 170 lead here, but he does provide access to a domain for the team, and I think that does work kind of well here. It makes up for dropping a Terrifying Conquerors or movie boss Wicked Bloodline character by adding that extra power. Now, obviously, since you're only having 1 Omega on this team, this is probably going to be more geared for a shorter style fight, but the team greatly benefits from having that. And then again, you also don't have to use that domain right away. Speaking of domains, we have another team set up here that utilizes the Lord Slug. You saw that Lord Slug also shares 3 links with him and can work really well. It provides another big bad boss's partner as well as another domain, because after all, right, you only need 3 demonic power for his ability, so it'll end up working out quite well. Moving on, right, the next team we have utilizes the Dabura. Again, it's basically the same team as before, with the Cooler as lead, but it's placing Dabura as the Terrifying Conquerors lead. Now, it does put a couple of these characters that aren't on target Goku on the 170. Or actually, what is his secondary? Let's pull up Dabura's secondary here. Corroded Body Mind, correction. Well, actually, no, this whole team is on Corroded Body Mind. I forgot his second one was Successors. Yeah, so this whole team actually is on his full lead. The only problem with running Dabura is the characters you see here, King Cold, Teq Frieza, Garlic Jr., AGL Frieza. This is basically the only characters you can run, because now your filler teams outside of your lead have to be the Wicked Bloodline or movie boss characters. So until we get other easy A's, this is pretty much what you're going to have to run. You can swap in the Fizz Cooler, who is likely to get a super easy A, and we'll come back to him in a second. With any of the characters on any of these teams, if you want to swap any one of them out, Fizz Cooler when he's super easy A's is a good option. However, not an option on this next team, right? This next team utilizes Cooler under the Omega Shenron, giving you access to 2 of his domains, since he does also lead power absorption. Now, the thing about this team, Worldwide Chaos, Shadow Dragons, and Battle of Fate for his secondary lead, means that Cooler is only on the 170. But again, as I mentioned earlier, access to 2 domains would really help out making up the difference in that lack of stats there. Combined with having Baby's Giant Form, Golden Frieza's target, the team can work out quite well, especially when you consider that Cooler also has a giant form of his own. So very, very helpful there. So just another team you can try out. Our next team is a more free-to-play variant of the team, right? Maybe you don't have a lot of those premium summonable characters. These are some free-to-play options that are available that you can build a team around. It's not the craziest. Don't expect to be no iteming things with these teams, but consider that 3 of the characters here could potentially EZA at any moment. The Teq Mecha Frieza should be in line for an EZA here soon. The Wheelo actually should EZA this month, right? He is the next Prime Battle R to be getting an EZA, and June last year is when Tien EZA'd, so Wheelo could potentially EZA and become a great member of this team. The Teq Metal Cooler Army could also potentially super EZA during this celebration as well, though I think he would be the first Prime Battle to Super EZA, wouldn't he? So we'll have to see how they decide to handle that. Or not Prime Battle, Battlefield. So we'll have to see how they handle that, but he could potentially do it. You also have the Metal Cooler team, but they're a lot older than some of the units on this team, so you're definitely probably not going to be doing events with them, even with items. So that said, right, next team. All right, this is a team that's sort of assuming EZA. We have some EZAs coming in the near future, and that is the Fizz Cooler and STR Cooler. I think it's very likely, if not this month of June, in the next big celebration, whether that's TDC or GDC, they are likely to EZA here within a month or 2. So this would actually be sort of his final team when everything is said and done. You can even swap out Teq Golden Frieza for Goma, and this would be a great team to utilize for the Metal Cooler. Plus, considering any possible new Wicked Bloodline leaders we might get, right? If there is a resurrection of F or new Cooler or new Final Form Frieza DFE on the way here soon, they could potentially be swapped in as a leader, allowing Metal Cooler to work as an existing floating support. So there's that. The final team I have here for you down at the bottom is more assuming you don't have the Metal Cooler, but you want to try him out. Unfortunately, there aren't too many leads that overlap with his, so the best way to do it is run movie bosses under the Teq Golden Frieza with the characters you see here, right? The Fizz Metal Cooler, Garlic Jr., AGL Frieza, and Fizz Cooler when he super EZAs. The middle option can be a flex option. The middle option can be a flex option. Whatever movie boss can fit in here. It really doesn't matter who it is. Heck, you could even throw any power absorption characters on here as well, as long as they fit under the movie bosses. But one option I want to talk about for the teams here, I didn't talk too much about him, but one option that could slide in to many of these teams is Fizz Turles. On any of these, he is on the banner. There's a potential for his EZA during this celebration, and he does fit Cooler's full lead. So he could be a potential swap-in option at any of the points here. Being one of the characters who shares 3 links with Cooler, it'll work nicely. Okay. And then finally, the team here, very similar to some of the teams we started with in the beginning, but swapping out one of the Terrifying Conquerors for the Mira, right? As long as he's on a full extreme team, he's going to work out quite nicely since he's not going to be centered on crossover. So be interested to see how he works fully with that. I think he can do well, but this team definitely needs a little more testing. So these are just the various different teams. As you notice, there's pretty much... This is one of the few teams that we've had as of late where there isn't much to work with when it comes to team variation. There just aren't enough units at the moment for Cooler to work effectively. This could change by the end of the month of June, and I may update this guide with a more appropriate team. But I mean, the update is basically, if they do update it, right, it's basically going to look like this team here with the EZAs that we pointed out. Maybe swap Fizz Metal Cooler and SDR Cooler with like Turles if he ends up being the EZA. So there won't be much change. So lastly, let's take a look here at the different types of events that he can be used in. So let's get this out of the way. He is not a long event character because his giant form is procced through the passive automatically on turn 6 or on turn 4 if he shows up in slot 1. That means you're going to burn it in Festival of Battles as soon as that happens. Now, the turn 4, it's probably going to be easy for you to get away with utilizing his giant form and going into, but because it's not a single turn giant form, right? If you kill the boss, you can go in and you'll go into the next phase, right? And I believe it takes you out of giant form if you go into the next phase. But right, you're going to run into issues of messing with the charges, especially if you hit that 6th turn giant form. So you definitely don't want to be utilizing him in Festival Battles. Plus, he's not on very many teams that can benefit from the team stacking, right? Basically, Baby's team would be the only team you could do that with. And even then, right, you're not going to be able to utilize it that effectively because Baby's team gives you access to the 4s and Vegeta and Trunks. So that's about the only team. You could really try it, but it's not going to be the craziest. And again, you're going to run into issues with that 6th turn giant form. And you're also not going to have his full passive maxed out. So there is that. Otherwise, right, the teams he's really going to work well on, the events he's really going to work well on are any events that are medium to short, right? Turns where fights that can be over on turn 4 to turn 7 where you can proc that giant form and really get him going. So that makes fights like the new Battle of Gods, Supreme Magnificent Battle, both the Goku and Vegeta fights he excels well in. The 2 short fights here through the even the Gammas, because you can finish the Gammas by turn 7, right? So the Gammas, the Bio Broly, the Cell Max, right? He's going to excel in all of those fights. Now, whether we get a fight in the month of June where he could excel further or might challenge him, but I will say that medium to short fights is where he's going to excel in the best. Longer fights are not his thing. So just be aware of that when building teams around him. Now that could change if he can become part of a team that can maintain his passive while also not needing him to be the lead. So with that, let's go ahead and head back over to our game here. So guys, that is it for our video. Those are the best teams and partners for the June 2026 Dokkan Fest exclusive Teq Metal Cooler Army. If you guys liked the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know what kind of teams are you running with this? What teams do you hope to see build up over the course of the month or into GDC for him? Who do you hope to see be added to his team? Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching and aloha.